Welcome to the podcast. My name is Michelle Sinclair. I'm a divine healer, so I help people heal physically, emotionally, and I do this by taking people into a soul state and connecting them with the divine truth, getting them into divine alignment, and they heal themselves. So gradually, as you shed illusions that you previously held, that previously blinded you, and you find yourself gaining mastery of your minds and actions that's leading to wholeness in every aspect of your life, you will find little moments of extraordinary insight, little times of illuminating shafts of light that will enter your mind and will shift the focus of your inner sight, or clear the lens through which you see the world and judge the validity of all of its options and beliefs. Enlightenment can come in various ways. It can come as a mind-blowing experience, which immediately transforms your perception of your source of being, or your previous intellectual understanding of your world. True enlightenment is an inflow of divine consciousness into your human consciousness, which you will never lose, and which will permanently transform your attitude to your creator and your life generally. Now, all these little bursts of insight that come along the way before there's this huge burst that you cannot turn back from, every little bit of that is the divine pushing you. So if you've had this, and I bet that you have, if you're listening here today, you've had this burst of like, what? Oh, wow. Oh, I get it now. That, anytime that you have this, and it will be accompanied by actual light in your mind. So if your eyes are closed and the room is black, you'll think that the lights are on in the room. It will actually light up, and you will know that this comes from the divine. Any insight that leads you to better your life has come only from that pull that we have towards the divine alignment. So when we view our lives in a different way, so let me give you an example here. So I know a lot of people use things like psychedelics or things like that, and they come out of these experiences and they say, wow, it really changed my perception. It will have them bring up perhaps things from their past that they will then be able to view in a completely different light. And it will take them from being a victim or from having this situation or this scene or this thing be such a terrible thing to seeing the beautiful healing and the miraculous wonder of that particular event that they previously had viewed as something negative. So you could take any perceivable tragedy in your life, and you could take it and you could be a victim of it, and you could sit there and you could talk about it for the next 20, 30, you could talk about it for the rest of your life. And there are some people, and you will know because they get bitter, because they're living in the past. And you could take those things and you could blame and you could judge. But what you were doing by that is you were negating the beautiful gift that it is. That saying, and I can't remember who said it, I need to look this up. Someone once handed me a box full of darkness, and I realized that too was a gift. So here's how it works. You come to this planet. You have previous arrangements with people because you have previous karma, because you have previous lives. Now, I didn't even used to believe in this stuff until I started doing the work that I was doing, and then I'd be regressing kids back, meaning I'm putting them into state and then I'm taking their mind back, and all of a sudden they're some 40-year-old man when they're actually a 12-year-old girl. And so I'm seeing these things happening and I'm like, oh, wow. And I had experienced them for myself, but we can take these things and we can, I just made that up. Oh, I don't know if that's true. We can do these things and not truly fully believe in it. But when I seen, okay, obviously we have past lives, and if it was not past lives, then we have the memories and the DNA from all of our ancestors forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and always that are stored within our body. Either way, there's no way to, you know what I mean? So from these things, from these lives that we live, we build up this karma. We build it up. And so then we come here and we have to learn these lessons. We have to first of all, resolve the karma that is owed to us. Let's say that you harmed someone in another life, intentionally, grievously, and you passed before you had a chance for that karma to be returned to you. Well, sorry to say, but you'll have to come to this life, and then you're going to have to deal with that here, or the next, whatever it happens to be. But we make these arrangements, these agreements with our soul tribe, and we say, hey dude, okay, now last time I didn't learn about forgiveness, and I ended up killing Johnny and his whole family and got revenge instead of forgiving him, so I need to change that up. And so the soul tribe's like, okay, I'll come in, I'll hurt you, yeah, I'll do that thing. Okay, well, what are you going to do? Okay, well, I'm going to support you. Okay, well, I'm going to do this for you. Okay, well, I'm going to do that for you. And so these people who end up harming us are part of our team. They're here, they're doing it for us. And here's the thing about this, because this is previously agreed upon. These people know that they also have karma to pay. They also have karma to pay, so perhaps they need to be on the end of the guilt. Maybe they haven't dealt with their guilt in another life. Maybe they haven't realized, oh, right, we're doing this for each other. Yes, I did that, but it was for that person's growth. Yes, they did this to me, but it was for my growth. So when we come back here, and we have to be the perpetrator, let's say that we're the person who harmed somebody else, we know that we're going to have to pay the karma for this. So here, let me give you an example. So let's say you come in and you harm somebody, and I don't know, you abuse them or something like this. Okay, so you abuse somebody. So then what happens? That person they didn't abuse you, they didn't do anything to you, but you did something to them. Now at that time, maybe you didn't really care. Maybe you didn't care. But then later on, time passes and you start thinking, oh, maybe you have kids and you think, oh wow, I was really mean to this person. Wow, that was really bad of me. I can't believe I would do that. I wouldn't want that done to me. And so the person who has then done the harm, depending on the person, then might have this guilt or might have this shame, and they have to carry this within them, and that's a heavy, hard thing to carry. But that is their lesson, and they agreed to this, and so they need to work out and come into alignment with the truth so that they can also then heal themselves. So this is of benefit to both people, even though, the one person is the victim of it, but essentially this has been agreed upon for your soul's growth. We're like, okay, I'm going to come in, I'm going to hurt you, you're going to forgive me. Okay, this time, you're not going to kill me and my whole family, you're going to forgive me for it. I know it's going to be so hard to do, and it's going to take so much for you to do it, but you can do it. I believe in you. And so we come, we live our life, and either we do or either we don't. But along the path, to push us towards this forgiveness, which is, the ultimate. We need to forgive people because we can't harbor anything against other people, because if we do, we're not living in the truth, because we're not understanding how it actually works, and that we are actually all one, and that the people that harm us, they're actually helping us. And I see that so very clearly now, but when you're sometimes in the middle of things, it can be very difficult to see, right? However many months down the line, or years down the line, it's like, oh, I see what was really happening here. Why didn't I see that then? Let's say that somebody really hurt you or harmed you, and so then you go on the attack, and you're just attacking this person, and you're so upset, and you're feeling so horrible. And yet, this person who hurt you, maybe here's the example, they're talking really bad about you. And so you're so angry, and you're talking bad about them, and all these things. Meanwhile, that person who was talking bad about you, the people who believed what they said and who took it in, were also people who would harm you just like that person harmed you. So it doesn't matter what that person said or did. What they are doing by being themselves is protecting you from people who would also hurt you. So it doesn't matter the people that believe them, because the people that believe them, they are not energetically your people. And so at the time it might feel like, oh, this is a terrible thing that is happening, but truly, indeed, everything is always good. There's goodness in everything, always, 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 always. There's never not. And when we can understand this, when we get these little bursts of insight that come through that make us think differently. Every time that this happens, this is the divine. It doesn't matter if it's words that I say, words that somebody else say, any words, it doesn't matter where you hear it. When it hits your brain and you get this, that is the divine. That is the spirit, that is the connection that is showing you the way, because you will have a burst of truth, is what it is. Because it will take something that previously harmed you and hurt you in your thoughts, in your mind, in your psyche, all of those things, and it will turn it into something that is a beautiful and wonderful thing. Life is kind of like art. You know, when you think of a beautiful painting, you know, perhaps we view it in this way of, oh, it should all be like this, oh, it should all be like that. But if you were to look at your life as a work of art, you would see these dark periods, and you would see these light periods, and you would see these other periods of just color and whatever it happens to be, and all of it cohesively together is the most beautiful thing. And if you were to take away those dark parts, it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be near as beautiful. Something would be missing from it. The depth. Because the darkness gives the depth. And so it is pulling, it is showing you here when we go into the darkness, when we go into the deep, when we come out on the other side of it. There is so much light, there is so much illumination that will come through, but you have to go into the dark first. So this is, you know, when people come and they work with me, a lot of people, so many people, most of the people tell me that they're really nervous because they don't know what to expect. They're so nervous about it. And I tell them, don't worry about it, dude. You're gonna feel great. Just give it a couple minutes. Just give it a couple minutes. You're gonna feel totally amazing by the time that you're done. This is always the outcome. This is always what happens. But they go in it really nervous. Why? Because they don't want to go into the depths of their mind, because they're like, what if I don't come back? You know, what if this stirs up something within me that, you know, whatever it happens to be. But what we are doing is we are going in, and we are going to those places that were harmful, that were hurtful, that are holding you back, that are tied to certain emotions like fear or low vibrations, revenge, hate, things like this. And we're going in, and we're going back in time, and we are healing those things where they very first began. These beliefs where they very first began, and by healing them at the start, by healing them where they began, then in life today, you then don't feel that way anymore. You then don't have that issue anymore, because you healed it when it very first began, when it was very first introduced into your psyche in a certain way. And so we go in and we change it to the truth, and then once we've changed it to the truth, well, then you don't feel that way anymore. You feel amazing, because you've gone into the depths and you've come out on the light side with more information, with more knowledge. And people will tell me, I never thought of it this way before. Wow, I feel so different. And everything that we do, it is divinely led. It is I'm just leading people to the light and to the truth. Now, when I had enlightenment, the actual light coming in my brain, it was so intense. And I kept testing it, and I still do this. I'll be sitting there, I'll be meditating in the dark, and then my brain will light up, and I'll open my eyes and be like, what? Right? I knew it, the lights are still out, but I could swear that someone came in and turned a light on, even though I know that they didn't. And then one time when I'm meditating by this tree, and I'm connected to this tree, and my head's on the tree, and then I feel like, the sun is shining on my face, and I look up and there is no sun, the tree is blocking the sun, and it was from me, and this tree tells me, no, it's from you, it's always from you. So these things are not outside, right? That light in my brain, it comes from my brain. It doesn't come from the outside. What it comes from is when I am in alignment, when I have cleared away all of my lowly thinking, my earthly thoughts, and then I have this pure, true channel to the divine, and it just clicks you in right there, and then you're in it. And then you understand things on such a different, deeper level that you realize there's nobody to be mad at. There's only things to be thankful for. And the deeper that you go into this, and the more that you realize this, which you can do by examining your life and seeing all of the good that came from it. Let's say that you didn't have very loving parents. Well, what did that do to you? Well, maybe it gave you all these issues, like maybe you fear abandonment, maybe you this, you that, maybe you don't feel safe, maybe you don't feel good enough, maybe you, whatever all these things are. These beliefs are your gifts. They are the gift. Because when you go in and you heal those things, and you must, this is why we're here. And as you go in and you heal those things, you have then taken yourself from that lower state. You've gone into the depths, and you will come back out on the heights. This is how you begin to master yourself, because you can actually master your mind, and it's little bits at a time. And first of all, you'll get over all your addictions. You'll get over all the earthly stuff, like, oh, you're addicted to this, that. No, I'm not addicted to nothing. I don't need nothing. That's the first step. But that step is huge and massive, and it'll take you a while to get through it and to get there. And then once you get there, you'll be like, what's next? Because it will seem easy at that point, and you won't even understand addictions anymore. You won't even get it. You'll be like, what? That's just so weird. I could never be addicted to something. I don't get it, because that part of you that was addicted to the thing, that was trying to cope, that was trying to hide, that was whatever it was, is eradicated. It's gone. It's not there anymore, so you don't need anything to cope. And it changes these things so completely that you don't even, you're like, okay, well, what's next? Okay, well, what is next? Connect with the divine more often. So maybe you've healed these things, so now you're gonna meditate more. So what's gonna happen as you start to meditate more is you're gonna start to channel more information. The divine's gonna tell you things. The divine's gonna lead you in direction and say, hey, you should call this person. Hey, you should go to this place. Hey, you should do this. Hey, do you want to do that? And it's going to lead you and it's going to guide you, because all of the clouds, all of the noise is gone. And as you begin to master yourself, you're going to then be so conscious of your thoughts. You're going to realize that any lowly negative thought has temporarily, while it is there, put up a block and a barrier to the divine, and you're not going to want that anymore. You're not going to want that. So you're going to get rid of all judgments towards other people. And I mean all and every judgment. You're going to stop watching TV that is harmful and hurtful. Ugh, low vibe. Okay, sure, yeah, this show is funny, but do you see the perverted sickness that comes into this show, this mental disgustingness? Now let me tell you how you can judge this. When you are in a state of enlightenment, you are so uplifted and so in this place, you could not dream of wanting to watch television. You couldn't. You wouldn't give a crap about it. You don't care, because you see, that is wasting my life. I am wasting my life. I could be connecting with the divine right now. I could be going and I could be doing something good. Rather than sitting there, you realize that your life is precious and that you are here to live it. And so whatever's pulling you, whatever you're so passionate about, and it will be different for every single person. We are all here for completely different reasons. The reason that I'm here is probably different than the reason that you're here. Although I would also say you're here for the same reason, to get into divine alignment. Maybe you're not a teacher about it, but the purpose of you being here is to get into that divine alignment. This is how we're evolving, and it's happening rapidly. It's happening right now. But whatever your purpose is, maybe you're a mother, and maybe your purpose in this life is to be a mother, and a good one, because maybe in previous lives you weren't. And so your place is to be in the home and to care for and to love and to raise your children, and that is your purpose and your passion. It doesn't need to be something outside of the home. If this is the pull that you have, that you're like, oh, there's nothing that I want to do more in my life than spend time with my family and do this and that, then that's the thing. Because you're so passionate about it, and you feel this pull, like when you're not with your people, you need to be with your people. That is showing you, it's pulling you, it's showing you. You'll be pulled to the things that you need, that you want, that are supposed to be for you. And if that's not your thing, maybe it's something else. Maybe you're supposed to solve the world's, I don't know, mechanic problems. Maybe you're supposed to invent some kind of new software. Maybe I don't know what it is, but whatever it is that you're supposed to do, you will be passionate about it. Because you need to have this passion to drive you forward, to keep going forward. You have to, you must. Because if you do not have it, you will stop, you will quit. So this is like children. They say kids usually quit sports around 12 years old. 12, 13. Totally normal. And why do they do this? Because they were doing it before, yeah, they enjoyed it, they were hanging out with friends, but once they lose the passion for the sport, if it's not their thing, if they're not going to end up doing this long term, many children lose that interest around that age. And we think, oh, you need to do this. Sure, yes, we need to move our bodies, we need to do whatever, but when we are pushing, somebody towards something that's not their thing, then we have taken up all that space and that time and that energy that they could be using towards something that they're actually passionate about and something that they actually want to do. So finding out, that what are you so passionate about? What do you love? And then really instilling this and helping and guiding, these young people. But some of us, many of us, we're not going to figure out our thing till we're 30, 40, 50 years old. We're not going to figure it out. And all of a sudden, we're going to be like, oh, that's neat. I was really interested in this. This really has a lot to do with the thing I was interested in. And maybe something will present itself to you that you hadn't even considered before. This is what happened to me. It was like hypnosis. Well, that sounds like witchcraft, which is hilarious now, and there's just so much ignorance around it. But I see why they put ignorance around things that are so beneficial and so helpful, right? It's the same as our plant medicines, right? Oh, make these things bad, but we're going to give you these things that we made that harm people, and these things are good. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So, when we get into divine alignment, which comes through these little bursts of insight. How can you get these little bursts of insight? First of all, start meditating. If you don't do it, just start meditating. Look up a video, follow along, do a 5-minute guided meditation. It'll start to get you into the sync, and you'll enjoy it. You'll actually really like it. I can pretty much bet you will. Study the Christ letters. This is what I did. I would listen to them, because you can listen to them for free on YouTube, and I would go and I would take a bath every single night, and I would just sit there and I would listen to it. Oh, I was just hooked on it. So beautiful. And then after that, I started reading it, because I would hear these amazing things. I'm like, I need to highlight this in a book. I gotta get this. And so then I started reading the Christ letters. But what really set me off, and so I did this for a couple of years. And through this, I would get these little bursts of insight. I'd be sitting there, I'd be reading, I'd be then closing my eyes and laying in bed and kind of meditating afterwards, and I would get the light. And I would think, and I would understand something on a deep, deep level. And then I would think, was that it? And I would question myself, even though I knew that it was, but I would have these little creeps of doubt that would come in. And as soon as that doubt would come in, I could feel my energy drain. But you can't just push it out. It's like it needs to be dealt with. That doubt was there for a reason, because there's something that still wasn't healed. So it's showing you the way. It's showing you, yes, you're on the right track. And the doubt comes in, but we have more work to do. We have more work to do. And so this happened. This would go on for, a long, long time. And then this was when something tragic happened. I was like, I'm out, I'm gone, I can't deal with this. My life as I know it is completely over, and I need time by myself. And I went for 3 weeks by myself. No Wi-Fi, no nothing. And I studied, I read, I wrote, I did yoga, I meditated, I danced, I had music. I didn't talk to other people besides the friendly hello as I'm walking the dog down the road, and the guy at the store. So I had these tiny little moments of interaction, but besides that, I was by myself completely, not talking to people. I'd go out, I'd wake up in the morning, go out, walk down the dock, sit on the dock, meditate. All the animals, because there's nobody around where I lived, nobody. All the animals would come out. There'd be birds in the trees, the ducks swimming in front of me, all the animals coming out to check me out, because they're feeling the vibes. We're all connected, we're all one. And it was going out there for weeks that I then came back and was like, I know what I know. I know what I know. But when I came back and I was in a different environment than I had been in, that was not hospitable to spiritual growth, not at all. It was there to smite me and to snuff it out. It was impossible for me to maintain, because I still had too much of my humanness, that I couldn't just sit there at that time and sit there and hold the space and hold the light and illuminate everybody else in my house. I just wasn't at that place yet. I couldn't manage it. Perhaps because I knew I wasn't supported. My ex always thought I would leave him for spiritual reasons, and because he manifested that, that's essentially exactly what happened. He could say, he predicted the future. That's not what happened. It's electromagnetism, and it was for my benefit, and that's not why I left him. But you can go back and find out in a previous thing why. Anyways, once I left there, I went and I got into this heightened state, and I couldn't get out of it. There's nothing you could do to take me out of it, because I was then in supportive energies. And it completely changed things for me. And I didn't need anything. I didn't want anything. I didn't care about stuff or things or anything. I just felt so good that it was like, any extras are just extras, but I don't need anything. I don't want anything. But what happened during this time was I learned some hard lessons. I engaged with people who were not my people. They just were not my people. And when you do that, it can really lower your energy. It can really deplete and take away when you are not with your people. So you'll know, because if you have an interaction and then you leave, and then you don't feel good, that's how you know. And so I was still learning this because I had come from an environment where that was happening 100% of the time, all of the time, never not happening. So I'm used to this, right? So what happens? I'm used to this. I've been living it. I've been putting out that electromagnetic vibration of this is what I'm used to. And so then this is what I got back. And it didn't matter that I moved countries. I was still putting out that same signature vibration until I caught myself and realized what I was doing. And the day that I caught myself, the second that I caught myself, it was shown to me within hours, that I did the right thing. And so even these things that was difficult to go through at the time, it was not going the way that I wanted it to go. It didn't matter. The divine is showing me, it doesn't matter. This is not the way you want it to go. I'm going to show you an even better way. And that's exactly what happened. But surrendering to the old and not being afraid of the new is the way. And when you get into that divine alignment and you can trust and you can know, it doesn't matter what I do, it doesn't matter what decision I make, I will be fully supported by the divine. And you can bravely take any step that you want to take, you will be fully supported by the divine, 100%, every time. And so all of these little steps, all these little bumps along the road are not bumps. It's like they're a hill that's constantly going up, but it's a bumpy hill that's going up. So you're going up, then you're going down, you're going up, then you're going down, but you're constantly always still going up. And you're learning these things. And as you go along the way, you'll realize, oh yeah, okay, now because I learned this lesson here, I know that if I'm getting the vibe from someone that they don't support me, that's it. It's done. Thank you for entering my life and showing me how valuable that I am. Thank you. Goodbye. And then you move on to the next. Oh, thank you for coming into my life and showing me that you actually support me. Wow, this feels amazing. Thank you. Thank you for entering my life. Oh, here's another lesson. Oh, somebody else. Oh, I'm not sure about this person. Oh, yeah, I was right. Why didn't I listen to that? And then we learn another lesson. And all we're learning is to master ourselves. So when you get that inkling, let's say that you meet somebody and you first have this insight of, oh, this. Why do you ignore that? I do too. I don't anymore, but I did. Why do you get it when you get this vibe up of somebody of, ooh, I can't trust this person, or oh, I this, or oh, whatever it is? Why do we ignore these things? And they end up being harmful to us. And we prove these things to ourselves over and over. And yet we continue to do them. Why do we do this? Because we haven't learned the lesson yet. And so as soon as we can learn the lesson of, oh, this is showing me that if I accept people that don't love and support me, then I'm not going to have room for people that love and support me. There we go. Why didn't I think of this before? Because we don't think of these things until we think of these things, and not a minute sooner and not a minute later. We think of them on the day that we're supposed to think of them, or we'll hear them on the day that we're supposed to hear it. And then it'll create a shift. That's all that happens, right? As soon as you get this moment of clarity, a burst of clarity and insight is something, an illumination in your brain, all that has happened is you have perceived a deeper, more honest truth. You've perceived something in a different way. This is like a boy who his parents didn't have money, so they got him an encyclopedia, and they couldn't afford it, so they got him the A, and so it was just art that was in there. And oh, he was so upset, he was so mad. How could you just give me one book? And he was pissed about this for years and years and years and years. And he grows up to be an artist. Why? Because he had that one book and he would sit there and he would look at the beautiful art that was in it. So rather than appreciating the thing that it was in, he had turned it into this negative, bad, awful thing. But yet it was the thing that he ended up growing up and being passionate about and loving. And it was gifted to him at a very young age, but he did not see it. Because a moment of insight had to come through for him to shift his perspective. And you could see it from the outside looking in, but when you're living in your life, because I guarantee you have things like this in your life that you're unaware of. If there's something that you're still upset about, if there's something that bothers you, even if it's current, if there's something, it is because there's something that's unhealed in you. And so you can heal it, and then you won't feel that way anymore. It's like, oh, how do you heal it? You know, people say heal it, heal it, heal it. It is literally going back to when it very first began, following this back in your soul imprint, in a subconscious state, following it back to the very start of it. Because what you're experiencing now, you might be like, well, I've never experienced this before. Well, maybe not like this, but that same feeling that you have when you think about it, that comes up inside your body, I bet it didn't just start recently. I bet it started when you were very young, and it's now being fulfilled again. And it's probably been fulfilled again and again and again throughout the years, but maybe you just haven't recognized the pattern yet. But everything that we learn from this is just pushing us for more growth, and it's really just pushing us for more acceptance of life as it is, and forgiveness, because there's truly nothing to forgive. Like, there's actually nothing to forgive. We arranged this before we came here. We had the team, and we're like, dude, I'm doing the thing, you're doing the thing, cool. You guys know we're going to forget everything as soon as we leave this table and go back to Earth. We're not going to remember this, and it's going to be so much harder than we think it is right here. And everyone's like, yeah, that's cool. We've done it thousands of times. We got this. I got it. I can do it this time. And the team goes in. And the team goes to go do their work, and this one hurts this one, and this one hurts this one, and this one forgives this one, and this one doesn't forgive this one, and this one gets revenge on this one, and then this one has to do something about that, and it just goes back and forth. But all of it is for the evolution. All of it is to grow and to heal and to get into divine alignment and to remember, oh, these things that are coming to me are because I have done them in the past. This is karma that is coming back. And as soon as you realize this on a deep level, then you stop putting out negative karma. You stop it. You completely stop it. You don't do it with your thoughts. You don't do it with your mouth. You don't do it with your mind. And as soon as you stop doing this, then things change for you, because you're now no longer putting that energetic frequency, that signature out into the universe. You've stopped imbuing all that empty space with that frequency, and you've put a higher one in there, a better one, and so then higher and better things are going to be returned to you, because this is how it works. This is electromagnetism. Our thoughts are electric. Magnetism pulls them back to us. There's no time frame on it. There's no time frame on it, but the more spiritually enlightened you are, the faster it'll be. You could speak something, you could say something, oh, look, it just appeared right in front of me. Have you noticed that there has been a shift in consciousness, and that you can do that too? That when you talk about something, it'll happen later that day or the next day. Random weird things, like you talk about, oh, this weird random gray coffee cup. All of a sudden you're like, oh, that's weird. Look, there's a weird random gray coffee cup. You know, that's pretty basic, but something more unique than that. A gray coffee cup with these white swirly swirls on it, and some dots on it, and then all of a sudden you're talking about this, and all of a sudden you walk in and the thing's right in front of your face. And it's just proof to you, hey, I was just talking about that. And we always say that, hey, I was just talking about that, but we don't realize that what we're actually seeing is the divine's love. This is proof of the laws of the universe, and that what you put out, you get back. And it's just showing you these little bursts of proof. Hey, you were talking about this, and now you see it. So shouldn't you be talking about only good things if this is what you want to come into your life? But because we don't change just so completely overnight, and we still expect the same things that were happening yesterday to happen today and tomorrow, then they happen because we have our faith in them. We put our belief in them, and therefore they happen. Because all we're seeing, all we're witness to, is our beliefs. This is why when people come to me and they're healed, what they're witnessing, what I'm witnessing in them, is their belief. It's their connection that they get with the divine love, and it can heal and eradicate any disease, ailment, illness, any kind of, there's nothing that it can't heal. There's nothing that it can't. But it is that person being put into alignment by cleansing away all the stuff that's not helpful to them anymore, and me leading them on this little journey of, here, this is the way. And then they see it and they go, oh, I don't need this cane anymore. I don't have this disease anymore. And then they understand on a true level the laws of the universe. And when you can heal yourself, so these people, you know, physically healing themselves, this is an amazing thing, right? Because other people see it. But you know what, when you heal yourself emotionally too, when you heal these things like depression or anxiety or whatever it happens to be, other people see it too. And it's only you that can do it. I can't change anybody. I can't do anything at all to anybody. No, it is them choosing it, is them allowing it. I can come, I can help, I can do some energy work, we can move these things, we can guide you. I will guide the process, but if you don't choose it for yourself, it's on you. You can't do anything to anybody, for anybody. All the things, they have to accept it. They have to choose it. And therefore, it really takes the pressure off you. Man, when I'm doing work, I just, ask the divine to do whatever is best. It's not on me. It's on the divine. And the divine does what's best every single time. And because I believe this with no doubt, and I feel it, and then I get this really excited feeling because I know the good work is going to be done, and I don't have an ounce of doubt because I have felt the love. And that's it. I've felt that love on such a deep, unshakable level. There's no way you can shake it out of me. I mean, to have that, even just that experience of the very first time that I experienced it and it flowed through my body, have that taken away from me, I wouldn't even want to be here. Wouldn't even want to be here. It's that meaningful. It's that beautiful to me. Because it has showed me the way. And through it showing me the way, I can help and show other people the way. I can show you, hey, dude, you don't got to suffer with that. You can heal yourself. Here, this is the way. Hey, man, you don't got to feel this way. We can heal this. This is the way. But if people don't accept it, and if they want to stay stuck in the old ways, or if they don't want to be honest, they're not going to heal. And that's on them. And they got something else that they need to learn before they're ready then. Maybe this isn't the life. Maybe this isn't the one for them. Maybe they need to have that lesson 70,000 times and be like, Jim, I'm telling you, man, you got to forgive. You've had now 7,000 lives with so-and-so, and you haven't forgiven her. And every time that you pass, you're like, right, I got to do that. And you keep not doing it. So maybe you should really do it this time so that you don't got to come back and do it with that same person again and forgive them again. And then you've freed yourself. Because as long as you're in unforgiveness, think about those energies that you're putting out. Spite, hate, malice, low frequency energy, and all those things return to you. Let's say you've been living 40 years and you're still pissed that your parents weren't perfect. Think of all that negative energy that you've been putting out there, and it's returned to you. It manifests in your life. This is why some areas of your life, some vibes, feel very similar to it did when you were younger. That feeling that comes up because you're actually still on that same print, that energetic print, and you were meant to heal this and to elevate. And once you do that, you will elevate and you'll be like, oh, I get it now. I get it now. I see it. I get it. And it'll change things for you. But this is what I have for you guys here today. Thank you guys for tuning in. And if you've had these bursts, these moments of illumination in your brain, I want to hear about it. Just tell me about it. Also, if you guys have any suggestions for any topics that you would like to hear, just list them below, and I would be happy to make a video for you guys. I love getting ideas. Anyways, y'all take care. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Michelle Sinclair. I'm a divine healer, so I help people heal physically, emotionally, and I do this by taking people into a soul state and connecting them with the divine truth, getting them into divine alignment, and they heal themselves. So gradually, as you shed